Hi Collective, welcome to the channel. I'm Crystal, Divine Psychic Medium here delivering messages to you from the higher realms. So welcome in everyone. So this is going to be a twin flame collective reading that I'm doing, right? Because I got some downloads, right? Some realizations, those aha moments, you could say, right? I'm putting together some other enlightenment messages that I've been getting about the twin flame journey, right? And the twin flame trap and false twins, right? Fallen twins, corrupted twin flames, right? I've talked about a lot over here on this platform and this channel as I've been struggling and going back and forth with my twin flame journey, right? Understanding it, constantly getting psychic attacks and all sorts of stuff, right? Okay, so what I wanted to explain a little bit here is that's why a lot of you'll hear some will say that you fully have to surrender the twin flame journey to really come into union, because it's really about finding that love from within, loving yourself enough, connecting with God, divine source, because you know that is what those highest connections are for divine to bring them in when you're ready. And when you're not ready, you're not going to come in alignment with your twin, because you would destroy it. It would be too much for you to be able to come together within those woundings. And why is because even though you trigger each other to do those change, the enemy, right, the devil, kingdom of darkness, does not want these unions to come together, is always going to be attacking them, coming at them, pulling on the wounds, doing different things, right? And especially, you know, the amount of love that goes into these, if they're not healthy, they can become extremely toxic very fast, because they get very obsessive and controlling. And especially because you could feel so much love from within your heart, but then it's going to pull on woundings, right, that are there. If you have fears of abandonment, insecurities, if you have any of those things and you love somebody so much, but then it's going to make you where you're like, no, like, you know what I mean? The devil's going to get in there, right? So that's why you have to be fully healed, right? Now the devil knows this, so especially when a lot of you run into the false twin dynamic first, is because that's like the final test that you will get before your true unity with your twin. Because they're going to appear so much like your twin, because that's where the enemy's going to come in and attack you most, right? Isn't it in the 11th hour, in the final moment, that what is that, the 10 feet from gold, like, don't give up, you're almost there. You know, that's when the entities, you know, that's really the ones who's watching, the ones that are inching closer and closer. It's like nobody's watching like a chess game right at the very beginning. But when you're down to just a few pieces left on the playing board, that's when the attention, like, I'm running out of time. Let me focus on this now, right? So that's kind of like what's been going on, right? So, you know, the ones that have done the most amount of work and are the closest ones to union are going to be finding this out. And for some of you, you're going to be finding out like, oh my gosh, like I was with, you know, a karmic, I was with, you know, a false twin, right? And for some of you, it could be maybe if you did come into alignment with your twin. I'm not going to say for all of you, it's not for some of you, but if they're not ready, devil's going to be using them as well. So then in fact, it's chaining you to the devil, right? And for you, like, it doesn't even matter. It's not about finding out who your twin is. If you're still trying to find out who your twin is, then you're not ready, because you need to know that it doesn't even matter. Because when you fully love yourself, you love yourself enough, God, divine source, is going to bless you with love, with someone that's going to be equally yoked and matched to you. And if your twin was corrupted, divine source creator can very much take their contract away, basically taking the divine out of them and giving the contract to another, right? So there can be movements of contracts, right? So you don't need to be in this mindset like, oh, if I can't save my twin, my divine, then I'm not going to have, because there's always been these contingency plans and movements, and the light always wins, right? It's far more stronger. The devil likes to play games, manipulate, and control. That's why it has control over the mind, 3D things, but not within the love. Not when you raise your vibration high enough and you're connected with God, divine source energy. The devil can't use you anymore. That's why when you finally let go of fear and insecurities and wounds and you heal all of that, devil don't have access to you anymore, right? Because the light is already won. The battle is here, right? in the 3D. So yeah, if you're still, battling these things, you're still having these worries, fears, then you're not ready yet. Right? So the devil can very much have control over, the lovers you're with. And things to look for some of you, like if the darkness takes over, if the entity is fully taken over, something I've realized is that when an entity is fully taken over, like a host control, right? They almost appear kind of robotic in a way. They don't think for themselves anymore. They're incapable of showing like remorse, empathy. They're very much just always focused on themselves, on 3D things, on physical things, on money, finance, resources, material. It's almost like they're kind of like on a loop, on a cycle, on a path. Like they're very focused on the physical. It's almost like repetitive, right? And even though if you say things like you need to change this, you need to do things, it's like it will, right? It'll adapt to it. It's really like programmed almost in a way. And that's something that I was getting hung up on for a long time. So I was like, every time I say something, it's remembered, it's worked upon. You could be noticing a lot of mimicry I've been getting, and a lot of like mimicking, because the devil very much is trying to, if you think about it almost as it's like the devil's like a program, right? Entities like programs. So it's like things are very calculated, and when you start to see through it, you start to realize that you can see these things, right? Because there are a lot of entities and demonic forces that I do believe are almost just like part of a program, right? That aren't real. Like they're very much as soulless beings walking around, right? As it has to be. There wouldn't be any. It's like for the duality, for the dark and the light, and right, and just the way that everything is. There wouldn't, that's why there's good, evil, light, dark, right there. But it's let me bring me back. This, I can't go way metaphysical with this. This is about the twin flames, right? You need to know the purest love connections. So you're right, like your true twin, if they're at that level, right, for a union, they will never be dark to you, hurtful to you, abusive. It's not within them. They don't have control. The devil is not controlling them, doesn't have access to them. So if somebody is at a state where they're getting controlled by addictions and toxicity and any of these things, they're not to that level, right? So they're not divine. So there has been a lot of divines that have fallen from grace, that have lost their contracts. There has. There's been a lot, right? It's almost because it's a battle, right? We are in a battle of the light versus the dark. And just because you've battled and you've won, don't feel that you haven't, just because your counterpart, your twin, your lover, even though you may have came together, because some of you could have came together, and so you could have been almost ready on the path. And maybe if you could have blocked everybody and everything out, you could have integrated, you could have came into, because there's a difference coming together and being in union. There's a big difference. For some of you, it's like time was up. You magnetically pulled each other because you were on that. It's almost like you healed enough where you were ready to try, but the condition wasn't ready. There was too much attacks. For some of you, too much demonic forces got in, and that's why it will repel twins back away. But it's like that's meant to happen. It's supposed to be like that for a reason, because you will destroy each other if you stay together and you're not ready. And sometimes you need that pulling away, because these games get played and you don't realize it. You think like these God complexes will come over where, they'll think that you can control, and the ego, like they're not going to leave me. They love me so much. I love them. I got them. And then the devil gets in and causes, you know what I mean? But really, you're no longer being divine when you're letting the devil get in. It can only get in through woundings, right? So some of these straight up have been compromised. Some of these twins have turned karmic. Some of these emperors have turned upside down. That's why for some of you, you may be like, oh my gosh, why was I together with my divine, right? Was he like an emperor, right? Or almost there, or in this King of Wands energy, and now he's back in this Knight of Wands player, in and out, insecurity, right? Because for some of you, like, that's what happened. The devil got in too much. Got control somehow. We'll find ways through music and movies and social medias, and because the different frequencies can get in and grab you, right? Knows how to get in through hobbies, right? Especially, you know, when you watch that dark stuff, entities get in. Or I'm not going to get into all the different whys, but that's why for a lot of you, like, you'll hear soul flip. Why my words mix up so much when I'm channeling? Devil, right? Trying to mix me up. Devil's always trying to flip things upside down, right? But ultimately, the test too, for some of you, it was always just meant to be that way. For some of you, your twin wanted to battle, wanted to be in the dark way, wanted to ultimately just lift you up, be there for you. So maybe for some of you, they're waiting for you to walk away and let it go. Maybe they were always meant to just serve you. Changing your perception, looking at things differently. You know, maybe devil tries to flip everything upside down. For some, it's like they've just abandoned the mission. Like, you know what? It's too much work. I don't want to do it anymore. I've been through so much. Like, changing sides. They're not going to tell you that. They're going to want you to give up your contracts too. So for some of you, your twin may have already been compromised, have already changed sides. What if that? If you knew that, you'd let him go, right? Because that's why for some of you, you need to know that this is about you. This mission's about you, loving yourself. You being your divine feminine, your divine masculine, finding that balance from within, relying upon no one, going and looking for love nowhere but through yourself, loving yourself enough. Because if you're looking for someone else to love you, love yourself. It's about you, right? You need to know that. So sometimes that's all it was about, teaching you to love yourself. You are more than enough. It's always been about you. So anything that, you know, was getting in the way, anything that was blocking you, stopping you, is ultimately, it was showing you things. That's why for a lot of you, your twin flame journey is just showing you so much, getting you so ready, you know. And for a lot of you, like, you needed to have your heart chakra activated, right? And your twin will do that for you. And sometimes you need to just have these divinely guided separations where you go down these healing paths, right? Because sometimes separating, healing can be done. And if that happens, you know what I mean, and they ascend and get together, then divine's going to bring them right back to you. But if not, for some of you, like, new contracts are going to come in. You're going to come in alignment with other divines, right? So you need to know that. It's where you trust in God, divine source, the creator. It's about, you know, that's why love is like getting blessed, right? You will get everything that you deserve and desire. You will get a match of the love that you pour into yourself. So for some of you, if you feel that you're going through a lot with your twin or whatever, divinely guided separation may need to be in order. You need to establish those boundaries for yourself. And even though you may feel as though, and you know, it very much could have been your twin, right? They could have went karmic, they could have changed sides, whatever. But it does not mean you're still bounded and binded to them, right? So, that's what I had for the twins, right? So once you basically let go of it and just, yeah, if you're a chosen one, you got a twin flame, right? Because 144,000, right? Where it's just, it's part of the mission. It's how it goes, right? But, you know, it's ultimately knowing that you surrender. It's always been about surrendering. At some point, you have to be willing to just love yourself enough. And a lot of times it takes that false first. For some of you, you could find it like, oh my gosh, like, yeah, that was the devil that was using, I keep hearing mimicry, right? That they were mimicking you or put in the perfect entity, right? That could use your emotions, play on you, copy you, because the devil is heavily researching and watching you. That's why a lot of times you're like, oh my gosh, they were acting just like me. Have you ever thought about that? How do they act so much like you, do know so much about you, be so much like you? Because yeah, they're your twin, but they're the other half of your soul. So they're supposed to complement you, not be identical like you. So if you're finding someone that's being like identical like you, yeah, okay. That could be a big sign it's just an entity. Oh my gosh. So when you finally just love yourself and you let go of all of this, it's like letting go of an addiction, really. Some of you are addicted to the twin flame journey. Like you're letting it consume your mind, right? Or you're letting tarot, right? Or reasoning or whatever, let it go. Because the devil kind of wants you to be thinking so much about them, right? Because you're giving it physical energy. Mind energy is so important. Isn't it stopping you from creating? Isn't it stopping you? If any of you are just ever like, you know what, this love is so much, like it's blocking me from my mission work and what I want to do and what I want to create. You know, if I'm out of a relationship and I'm not focused on love, I can focus on my career, I can focus on my talents, my ability, right? So maybe the devil's controlling you that way. So it's about letting go, loving yourself. All right, that was a quick little messages I had for the Twin Flame Collective. I'm going to get into some fun readings in a little bit, so you should come back and take a look at more of my readings. Watch wherever you feel guided to that love and light. I love you. Bye.